how good. Not so much Karl Rove, because I don't know how much he has to do with the Daily Message, but let's include him in the group. But Karl Rove, and a guy who never, ever, ever gets talked about, one, Andy Card, I don't know how much, but a guy who really, Dan Bartlett is the White House Director of Communications, who scripts the message on a daily basis for the White House. And he may be the best person at his job ever, because he plays a large role in how these bunch of inept people are able to sort of stay on top of things to the extent that they are. And they figured out a way to do that while not, when the president talks about him being dignified, it doesn't seem wrong. You just hear that sound, but it seems fine. Yeah, good, he's a dignified guy. Sure, he should be treated with some degree of dignity. And to translate, because, I watch Soledad and Miles O'Brien, and I think Miles O'Brien is a terrific anchor, but I'm now obviously convinced that Miles O'Brien knows nothing about American politics. And he's an anchor, and he does a nice job, and he is fantastic at covering the space program. Really good at it. And he was a science guy, and great, no, that's fine, so that's what he should be doing. But now here he is in the morning, and he's like, dignified. He knows the filibuster is nasty. Filibuster is a nasty, ugly fight. We all know that. That's what politics is about. But bang, it just translates in there. He's just trying to be clever out of the break, and Dan Bartlett and those guys, they nailed it again. They did it again, all because we have now turned our sort of the conduits of our information over to a bunch of people who simply do not understand what's happening and have been so easily manipulated.
I mean, that's it. I'm done with it. I mean, how can you not be done with these guys? I mean, the president comes out and butchers it. Comes out and just says the word 4 times over. Dignified, hoping it sticks, hoping it translates into, hey, don't do a filibuster. That's not dignified. Make sure you confirm this guy without any fight. And they buy it. I'm going to run the clip again. We got to run the clip again.
I'm building up to feeling like you. I mean, dignified. He's going to be on the Supreme Court for 30 goddamn years. He's going to reverse a woman's right to choose. He's going to reverse the right Congress has to make law. He's going to give overwhelming power to the president to ignore congressional authority, to ignore judicial authority. And do you forget what the president said? Do you think what we ought to be concerned about is whether the Senate treats him with dignity? They're going to treat him with dignity, whether they filibuster him or not. They're not going to hit him. They're just going to say, no, you shouldn't be on the Supreme Court. Why are we not talking about the things about it? Why do we care whether they treat him with dignity? Why do we care whether he likes Bruce Springsteen? Why do we care whether he's a good frickin' family man? Why do we care whether Alberto Gonzalez has a good family story, causing Ken Salazar from Colorado to think this is a compelling American family story? Jesus Christ.
Asking tough questions in the democratic process is not undignified. It would be undignified if you didn't ask them any questions, because that would mean you're abdicating your duty as a senator.
Okay, your duty as a senator is to ask tough questions and to stop a candidate for the Supreme Court who's out of the mainstream. And what else is not dignified is being a member of the concerned alumni of Princeton and then not recognizing 13 years later that you made a terrible mistake and lying about it. How is it dignified for Sam Alito to say, my mind's open on abortion, when it's friggin' obvious that it's not open on abortion? Let me tell you what would be dignified of Sam Alito to say, I don't think there's a constitutional right to abortion. Let me tell you something. I would still run against him. I would admire him enormously for saying, yeah, I've been an appellate court judge in the Third Circuit in Philadelphia. I am a thoughtful member of the bench, and before that I was a lawyer in the Justice Department of Ronald Reagan. The notion that I haven't thought about whether Roe versus Wade is constitutional or not is absurd. I talk about it almost every dinner party I go to. It's all we talk about. And I got to be honest, I don't see it. I'd be like, wow, I'd like this guy.